Hello, back again. Gonna do the intro this time.
Oh, hi. I'm
So this is the lights on podcast episode, probably 3 or 4 at this point. Who knows? I don't know. We're doing like the whole these all these episodes in the same day. So bear with us. That's why I'm wearing the same shirt. I don't wear this every day. She doesn't wear
I
that.
do.
Do you actually?
No.
Yeah, nah. So today again, Brian. I train a lot. I have my own company. I have a fair amount of investments in stocks. I've done a fair share of reading of books, listened to podcasts, and I think I've got a pretty solid foundation of giving you guys the information you want to hear. And Tian,
I'm 33. I am a qualified holistic counselor. I have a deep interest in spiritual topics and expanding my mind in relation to perceptions of life and perceptions of self and perceptions of experience. So I have kind of spent close to the last 12 years, a bit isolated and just acquiring as much information that I possibly can. And I finally feel like I'm at a point in my journey where I can share some of the things that I've gained. And I feel like it's the perfect timing in the world, especially this particular year where a lot of secrets are coming up to the surface that we
secrets.
can see on a world scale, specifically within politics and within media. A lot of entertainers are coming out in not so good
Like
lights.
like young fiddler,
Yeah, nah,
young
but he's a
Philly,
good one. No, shout
young
out to Young
fiddler,
Philly because
P
I
Diddler.
always knew you were innocent. You just have good vibes. Diddy, different story.
Nah,
Fucking
the
looks like a
same.
predator.
Young fiddler got a bit
Nah,
freaky
and
one
Philly
night
doesn't
in
have an
Perth.
ego like Diddy does. Like
Did
Diddy
he?
walks around like he. Have you said there was this new short that I saw when he was on the Ellen show? He actually threatened Ellen on camera. He
Yeah,
whispered it.
right.
Yeah, because he was like he brought out a shirt with a tape on it. The front of it had a tape.
Yeah,
And the back, and this is like 10, 15 years ago.
yeah,
And the
right.
back said, love from P. Diddy or something like that. And he's like to Ellen, give this to Portia.
Yeah, right.
And then he whispered, I can't remember what he whispered, but he whispered something to her, not loud enough for the audience to hear.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, he whispered young fiddler will join me in my
No.
freak offs.
Nah,
The
nah,
freak offs.
nah, Philly, you're a good man.
Nah, that's crazy, but I can't believe Philly got done. That's wild.
Yeah, I
And
know. Hey.
I went to Surfers Paradise that's in the Gold Coast in Australia, and I seen Philly perform like 2 days before he did allegedly what he did.
He got extradited, eh? No, because he'd done it before he went to Gold Coast.
No, he did it after.
No, Perth
So
was the first place he went to, and then he went to the Gold Coast,
oh,
and then he
and
got
then
extradited from Brisbane back to Perth. Yeah,
true.
mate, I know all the facts.
So young fiddler was already
No,
active.
don't give him that nickname.
He's already active. Yeah, one of these songs. What does it go like? Something like "Take your clothes off." I can't help myself. I'll put the song up.
Too tempted, I'm inside out. I slipped again, but it's mine.
Oh, is that one of?
Or some of his lyrics.
Oh wow. No offense, I don't listen to your music, Billy, but I do like you as an entertainer.
Yo, speaking of which, the San Remo, what's that place in South America that like full changed?
Oh, El
El
Salvador.
Salvador, yo.
Yo, honestly, El Salvador is going to be, you guys will remember me saying this in 20, 30 years. El Salvador will be one of the leading nations in the world government in 20 or 30 years. They have completely reformed their country and have a strong foundation of um, spiritual alignment, I would say.
Didn't he chuck like heaps of people in jail?
There was no other alternative with these people. It's honestly, these people are so deep in darkness. They're Satanists.
Yeah.
So they're a Satanist gang. They were kidnapping children, babies specifically, and they were doing sacrifices and devil worshippers, just devil worshippers. And it had been like that for, like, they were literally the most dangerous country in the world. The murder rate per capita, I'm not quite sure what it was, but it was more than anywhere else in the world per minute. Like, it's actually insane.
Yeah.
And in a span of 2 years, the El Salvadorian president has completely reformed the country. He's currently working on rebuilding their economy. But the thing that I like the most is he prays for guidance
Yeah.
before he makes any type of decision within government.
True.
How many world leaders pray for guidance so they can serve their people in the best way possible? Like, he's genuinely caring about the people that he's serving. He's not out for himself like the rest of the politicians who just worry about how big their house is and how much power they have. Like, he's just a genuine person. So yeah, no, it's actually sad that it's not as heavily televised in mainstream media as,
Yeah,
horrible things
true.
that happen in the world.
Yeah, speaking of which, yeah, horrible things that happen. I don't know if you guys like watch the news much, but I've come to understand as well that the media is incentivized to show all the bad things because that's what brings traction and that's what generates views. Because
No, that's what brings down your vibration and puts you into a negative mindset. And when you're in a negative mindset, you're easily controlled. She's like what Donald Trump says: fake news, fake media.
fake news, fake media.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, there's a book. I want to chuck it up on the screen now. I think it's called "Trust Me, I'm Lying." Yeah, that's it. That's literally the book, and it has a he's a what publisher or he works in the media, and like he literally breaks down step by step. So he publishes for some big media company. He breaks down step by step. If you send the right emails to the right people, you can get whatever you want published and promoted in the news everywhere in the world. And it's crazy because he literally sent emails of like this significant figure doing some dumb shit and then being like going to Wikipedia, editing his post, being like, this is the proof, and then push that onto all these media platforms, and then they all promoted his stuff. He also started a business. I don't know if it's in the book, so he already exposed himself, where he would get businesses who want their business promoted, and he would write articles about them to get that. Sure, it's negative attention, but to just generate attention for their own businesses so they can make money. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
really interesting. I love when people want something, but they are creative in the way that they go about obtaining it. Do you know what I mean? They really think outside of the
yeah,
box. And they're resilient as well because they don't take no as a final no. They keep
yeah,
showing up every day and trying to create their dreams. So I respect people who do that. I think that's a really good quality to have.
yeah. Just perseverance. Eh?
Definitely.
What do you think of Jake Paul? Actually, yeah.
Jake Paul's the boxer, yeah, Logan Paul's the brother. Um, to be honest with you, I don't have.
What about Logan Paul and KSI?
I like KSI. Logan Paul is very much self-absorbed. He's got his own interests at heart. The fact that him and his brother are very competitive as well. Instead of working in unison and trying to assist each other and growing like they initially did when they were doing their channel together, they're no longer like that. I remember they had an argument on one of their podcasts about how the fact that I think
Yeah,
Logan
yeah,
Paul had his
yeah. His drink.
his prime, and then Jake Paul
Yeah.
got the shits.
Nah,
What was it?
yeah, I think it was the other way. Prime was on their podcast, and they wouldn't let Jake promote his brand or whatever he was selling at the time on their podcast.
Yeah, the whole thing's ridiculous. At the end of the day, like, um, someone that you're associated with succeeding is not going to create lack in your life. So you know what I mean? Because
Yeah, 100%.
I can't understand any other reason why you would not assist the people around you.
Yeah, I mean, crabs in a barrel. I mean, you probably all heard the famous saying, you chuck a crab in a barrel full of crabs. If one crab is like halfway getting out, the other crabs will literally pull it down.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, true. It's a weird thing. Yeah, get a bucket, chuck in like a heap of crabs. If you see one crab like climbing up, the other crabs will fully just pull it back down.
That's crazy. That's why you have to be selective with who you let into your inner circle.
Yeah, 100%.
Honestly, yeah. And you need to be able to read people properly. You need to be careful, definitely.
Yeah, 100%. Keep your circle. It doesn't have to be small. I don't think I have a small circle, but I am definitely picky. We were talking earlier about um I myself I cut people off so easy. It's not funny. Yeah,
Me too.
like I do it in a, this is straight exposing myself, but I'll do it in a nice way. Like they won't know I'm cutting. Fuck. So shout out to everyone that I don't talk to anymore. Um, but I will distance myself slowly until we don't talk to each other. But if you do reach out, I'll reply. And I'm not heaps terrible person, but gotta gotta surround yourself with who you want to be like.
Yeah, see, I'm not like you. I cut them off straight away. As soon as I see a red flag, I stop talking to them. So I usually block numbers, I usually go ghost, and if they reach out, I won't talk to them. Yeah, I'm pretty
True.
ruthless. Yeah, you have
Damn.
to be. I
That
think
is
because I spent so much of my life holding on to the wrong people
yeah.
that I know the other end of the spectrum. So it's just easier, just a clean break. And I've always kind of had them, I've never felt bad about it. I've never felt guilty about it
Yeah.
because I've always had the mentality that I don't need to justify my actions to anyone else.
True.
Yeah,
No, I
I
like
know why
that.
I'm doing things. And if you're going to judge me and try and perceive it in whatever way, that's fine. Like, it doesn't mean that I hold any ill will towards that person or spite. I always wish everyone around me nothing but love and success in their lives. But yeah, it's just you're not going to be in my life, and I'm not going to muck around. It needs to just be a clean cut. Like I don't believe in having exes in your life as well, unless you have children, unless you're
True.
connected with children. There should always be a clean break, and you go your other ways.
That's so interesting because I don't know how to take the ex situation. Because I've seen people who have exes in their lives, and I've seen people that has been a detriment. I've also seen people that it hasn't been a detriment. And then I've also seen people who just cut exes off. I personally don't talk to any of my exes. Shout out all the exes. I've only got two exes. But I'm real picky with like who I date. But yeah, I don't know. I can understand keeping an ex in your life, but I do also think about my partner or future partner, how they would feel if I'm still like, I wouldn't be hanging around them all day every day. But if they reached out, like even now, if any one of them reached out and would like some assistance in anything, I'm happy to, because they did hold that place in my heart. Yeah, I don't know, but I wouldn't be like fucking, yeah, let's go to the beach tomorrow. No, that's not gonna work.
I just find it weird.
That's not
Like
gonna work.
I find it weird to remain in a friendship, and I always feel like even when people say that they have mutual breakups, I still feel like it was more one person than the other.
Yeah,
And I feel like there could be unresolved emotions, and at least one person is looking towards the other to help reconcile those unresolved emotions within them in regards to the deterioration of the relationship because it's affected their own self perception.
yeah,
So I don't know. In my mind, I mean, I've only had one relationship really, and it was a long term one. And yeah, I don't need closure. Obviously, it was quite a traumatic relationship towards the end, but I don't expect closure to receive my closure from him, and there's no way I'm giving him his closure. That's something that he needs to deal with in himself because those emotions are his and they're within him.
yeah.
So yeah, I just don't believe in it.
True.
But definitely, if you have children with someone, you've got an eternal link with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
be careful who you have kids with.
I always say that. I used to work in a bottle shop, and I'd see all these angry divorced men that would come in, and they'd have this bitch to me about, their ex taking their children away, and I would always say to them the same thing. I'm like, you just have to be careful with who you stick your dick in. Straight out.
100%.
Guys do
Wrap up,
not
bro.
think like logically when it comes to sex. They think with their dicks, and they might regret it afterwards. But in that moment, they're just happy to have sex. So I feel like, yeah, there needs
Yeah,
to be a little
100.
bit more less of an
Yeah, you guys.
instinctual approach to sex and more of a logical approach to sex, because I mean your energies are intertwined. A male is literally leaving his DNA in the female, which can remain with her and alter her own DNA within the vagina. Like, it's hectic.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
You
both
just need
men and
to.
women, you
This
need.
is this is why I'm a virgin and like I
Yeah, yeah,
refuse.
yeah.
I've never slept with. This is why. Bro, it's your energy is intertwined. Stop being
No, honestly though, you have to be very, very careful.
100%. Nah, I completely agree. But with yeah, with having what would your take be on raising kids? This has been something that like I've full been thinking about heaps recently. Like if I had a child, how would I raise them? I've asked everyone
I would raise them with presents.
with presents.
Presents.
Hypothetically, I'll put you in a scenario. This is like full just for me, not even if you're like multi-millionaire, how would you be giving them money? Would you like how would you go about raising a
I'd be
kid?
giving them presents. So
Presents.
I would always be present for everything they say, every conversation. I would give them my full attention.
Yeah.
I would lead by example, and I'd start that very, very young.
Yeah.
So I'd do things like I'd meditate in the same room that they're having their nap in,
True.
because it says 0 to 7 programmable years, and they don't learn what you tell them, they learn what
What
they
they see.
observe.
Yeah.
So if they see you taking healthy actions and regulating your own emotions, responding in a calm and peaceful manner, accepting them totally for who they are,
Yeah.
and being present. Like, so many parents, especially these days, you look at them and they're on their phones and their kids are talking and they're responding, but they're not present.
Yeah.
They're not giving them their full attention. And you don't realize how such small things like that are actually affecting the human brain and the development of the human brain and the development of the character. I hear so many people say about women that they have the ability to create a human. Never have I ever heard someone say, when I have children, I have the ability to create a person, to create a personality, to create a personal reality for my child, because that's what a personality is. Whatever
Yeah.
your personality is your personal reality,
Yeah.
because that's going to be your perception of reality.
That's
So I think it's really, really important, and people don't understand this, that you really need to be present for your children. Because I don't know about you, but think back to your childhood. Are you remembering the times when you got bought a fucking PlayStation? Or you're remembering the times when you spent an hour with your mum or your dad, fully invested, fully in presence, each of you, and you were just having a fun time, maybe doing something insignificant like, I don't know, going to the shops, but you're
oh
both
yeah, yeah,
present.
yeah,
And
100.
they're the moments that stick with you
No,
as an
I
adult.
do.
They're the moments that shape you, but you also remember those times, they stand out to you, when you felt like you weren't seen, when you felt
Yeah,
like you weren't
yeah,
validated, when you
yeah,
felt like you weren't accepted, when you felt
yeah.
like you were judged. And these are by the people that are meant to love you unconditionally. But unfortunately, based on their own childhood experiences, they weren't taught those things. So yeah, I always said to myself, I won't have children. Like, I'm 33 now and I've got no children, but I always said to myself, like, because both my parents were drug addicts. They did the best that they could, but I always said I won't have children, or I won't bring children into this world unless I'm the best version of myself, because there's no way that I will allow a child to come into this world and for me to project my shit onto them. They don't deserve that. They're an innocent person. And I should, as a mother, be able to give them the gift of the easiest start to life as possible, and a solid foundation to create whatever they want to, and
Yeah.
a belief in themselves,
Yeah, yeah, I think that's important too.
Yeah.
I was reading this thing that was like it oh, there was a couple and they had a kid and the kid was not doing that well in school, and they tried everything, tried being like, oh, if you get good grades, we'll give you this. If you get good grades, you'll get that. They even tried punishment. They would beat the kid if they got shit grades. But and then they started going to like family therapy and being like, oh, like how can we get our son/daughter like better at school? Like what's going on? Like they don't have ADHD, they don't have any learning incapacities. Like what's the way to do it? And the therapist pretty much explained you look at your kid as a failure already. So even though you're trying to like put these incentives for your kid, you're still viewing them as they're not good at school. So they need these incentives to get better. If you start viewing them as they're like top of the class, your behaviors towards them will change completely. Instead of being like, oh, you'll get punished if you don't get these good grades, you'd be like, oh, well, how can I help you learn today? Or oh, what'd you learn at school? Or damn, you really are smart. Like, what's the secret? And as soon as you start now believing your kid can be successful, the kid will start internalizing it themselves.
Totally agree.
It works with like how people see you and in the moment as well. So if people see you as a certain type of, say like the class clown, if everyone around, all my friends started viewing me as the class clown,
You'll
and
act
I
accordingly.
I'll act accordingly.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I start trying to deviate, like being serious or trying to become an athlete, everyone will laugh at me, and I'll be like less encouraged to do that thing because people naturally don't want change. And when they see someone changing, they're gonna be like, "Oh, what are you doing, bro?" Like they'll clown you. They don't want you to see. It's kind of like crabs in a barrel. They'll see you going up, and they'll be like, "Nah, nah, nah, like nah, you can't be doing that. We already have a perception of you. We don't want to change it."
Mm,
And so when it comes to, yeah, even yourself or your kid, as long as you believe they will handle themselves, well, this is what I think.
mm,
As long as you believe they will be sweet at the end of the day, they will. They just will. I think my parents have instilled that in me, thankfully. Maybe dad more than mum, but each way, I don't really. I'm still gonna bring myself up. Even in my life, like I've changed heaps throughout the years, and every time I started to change, it's felt weird. But then I've also changed the type of groups that is around me, if that
mm.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Because then it just works better.
Mm,
Like, can you think of a time where you meet someone new, right? You put your best foot forward at the start. Every time you meet up with them, somehow you're like this higher version of yourself. And then
mm.
you go back to your old friends and you're like, oh, I kind of like who I was when I was with that person.
Definitely, and I'm a believer that it's that the combination of your and that person's energy creates this synergy, and that synergy is that creative energy that you're kind of feeding off with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm different versions with myself with so many different people.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes I'm heaps
Exactly.
funny with some person, sometimes I'm heaps serious, sometimes I can have these type of
Yeah.
conversations with people.
Because they see you in that view and then you see yourself in that view when you're around them and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
maybe time to change. It's time to change groups. Or you are the five people you surround yourself with.
yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
totally believe in that. Yeah, I have a super small social network, but I don't feel any sense of lack. And how in one of the earlier episodes of the podcast we were talking about how you were saying you used to see yourself as an introvert,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but then you changed your perception as to be an extrovert.
Yeah.
I see myself as an extroverted introvert.
Oh, true.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I've got an extroverted personality. I have no issues in social situations.
Yeah, you were saying that, eh?
I sometimes feel awkward, but from what Brian's told me, I'm not perceived externally as being awkward.
Yeah, no chance.
Yeah, so I can be very outgoing, but then at the same time, I need a lot of time by myself to recharge because I feel like I get overwhelmed by constant, I don't know, I feel like I get bombarded with different energies all the time. So then when I come home, I'm by myself, I'm in quiet, I have peace, I can think rationally, I can
Yeah,
connect to my higher self, I can recharge.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Please comment your thoughts, whatever you're thinking. I know there's gonna be like mad arguments in the
Yeah,
comments
probably,
if more
hey.
than two people watch this video.
How many subscribers we have?
I don't know, bro. I don't know.